Hello and welcome back to the Game Pit. This is episode 160 and Ronan's not here. It's me and it's somebody else who we'll introduce in a moment. Ronan is too busy moving house. As you can imagine, he's surrounded by boxes in his new home and up to his eyes in all sorts. So good luck with that, Ronan, and we hope to have you back soon. But in his place, I have a more than adequate replacement, and it's a Game Pit regular. It's my wife, my wonderful wife, Natalie.
Oh, look, you saved yourself with the wonderful there. Thanks very much for having me back in the Game Pit. It's always a pleasure, never a chore.
Well, you're still complaining about the smell.
Listen, my nose sense
Your nose sense?
was burned out a long time ago.
Well, you do live with me.
I'm really pleased that I'm on a podcast which, you know, we need good, articulate, eloquent speaking, and I can't work out the word for smell in time.
Right, so little disclaimer, we've both been struggling with really bad colds, stroke flus, and we both lost our voice earlier this week. So if we dip out any time, then that's why it is, and we'll try not to. The voices are coming back now. Put the excuse out there first. So what we're going to do today is, we've long been threatening to do Natalie's top 20 games.
Top 20, we're going to put our marriage on the line.
And yeah, I'll get into that. I'm getting to it. Chill.
Oh, so I'm very nervous because this is make or break. This is it.
Well, this is it. Well, yeah, this could mean divorce. So what we've done, so Natalie has put together her top 20, and away from her, and in secret, I've put together what I think Natalie's top 20 is going to be. And we've come up with an agreement. If I don't get at least 10, they don't have to be in exactly the right place, but if I don't get at least 10, then we have to file for divorce.
I mean, it's going to break my heart because I'm quite attached to you, but them's just the breaks.
Yeah. On the flip side, Natalie's desperately hoping I don't get all 20, because that means she's boring and predictable.
Well, quite. Much like my gameplay, you often say.
No, you like to find something that works and you like to hit it hard.
Yeah, but so now this is my thing, right? Yeah, I like to find something that works for me, but I very rarely win games, so it doesn't really
That's
matter.
a lie. You say that, and you win all the time. And I'll tell you what makes great podcasting: taking your glasses off and going, brilliant. That's perfect.
I
tell
know,
you
but
what.
I can't see my list, you know, and with so much riding on it, I need to have crystal clarity vision. Like, if we're going to get divorced, it's not going to be because I can't see my list.
Well, indeed. Right, so I've got my list in front of me. Natalie's got her list in front of her. In secret, we have got shields built around them, so we can't see each other's. I have my trusty pen to mark off when I get something right. And if I don't make 10 marks at least, then this trusty pen will be signing divorce papers pretty soon.
But then at least I get some room back in the house because the games are gone.
Don't pretend they're not all mine. They're all mine.
We're not going to get into that on a family podcast.
Yeah, all right, Stitchy girl.
Ooh.
Ah. So we have this thing when a game arrives, I get grief. Or when a rake of stitching equipment arrives and patterns and threads.
Okay, but my kit, like 4 of my kits takes up the space of one game. How many games have you got?
They belong to the boy. Anyway, before we get started, we are very proud members of the Dice Tower Network. Go there, and to the Dice Tower itself for gaming goodness galore. So we're going to start off, Natalie, with your number 20.
My number 20 is Cat Cafe by El Alley Cat Game.
Ding!
Ooh.
I am one for one.
We're off to a strong start.
Right, yep.
It is a roll and write. Literally does exactly what it says on the tin. You kind of have to build your cafe to get as many cats in there as happy as possible. And obviously the most decorations and toys and, you know, food you can get in there, the happier cats are, the more points you score. And that's it. And I like it because it's simple. It's a 20-minute filler game at the most. It's the only roll and write that I continuously get out. And I love anything with cats, and it kind of makes me happy to draw my little cats on the sheet and name my cafe. And
yeah, I get told off because I put the letters.
Oh, you're so boring.
Whereas Natalie draws the actual
You
things.
draw the little toys and the milk and the food. But he puts letters. You're boring. You're basic.
You're basic. I really do enjoy Cat Cafe. It's probably the game that made me actually think roll and rights weren't the spawn of the devil. So I've actually gone on from there and tried some more roll and rights, and a bit hit and miss, but Cat Cafe is certainly up there as one of the very best I've ever played, if not the best. Mm-hmm. Good start.
There we go. We're on course.
We are on course. Right, what's your number 19?
Oh, you're not going to do what your 20 is? Are we going to do yours after?
No, we're going to do mine after. I'll tell you what my top 20 is.
Okay.
I'll tell you when you finished your number 1, I'll tell you how many I've got right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, in which case my number 19 is Orleans by DLP and Tasty Minstrel Game.
Ding!
Oh, I tell you what, it's looking good for our marriage, eh?
2 for 2.
Wow. So yes, Orleans, I think most people who listen to this podcast will know what Orleans is. Euro, which I love. You're building a trail around a map and you're gathering things and you're buying things. It's a standard Euro. It's coloured. You know, what do you want from me? It's coloured pieces of wood.
Bag builders.
It is one of the first bag builders. I do like a bag builder. So yeah, I mean, and I do really enjoy it. I'm very bad at it. I don't win the game. Like, I don't think I've ever won a game of Orleans. Shawnee tends to absolutely batter me every time we play. But I do like the bag building. It is one of the ones where I do try and find different ways to not win, because, as I've been made very clear, I don't win at this game. But it's one of the ones, because I know it so well, I do feel more confident in trying different strategies to not win and to maybe not lose quite so badly.
This one I'm going to agree with you, because when I play with you, I always win. But when I play with anybody else, we're looking at Terry, we're looking at Ronan, they mush me.
Yeah, but Terry in particular is...
You were going to say something nice about Ronan there, weren't you? That is banned in the game.
Man. I'll have to go and wash my mouth out with Dettol and wire brush. But no.
Yes, Orleans, we're both quite bad at it, but I'm less bad than you, and that was your number 19. Yes, I really like Orleans. I think it is one of my very favourite games. It was certainly my top 50. I can't remember, was it in my top 10, but it must have been close.
Well, it's a good game. We might break that out tonight.
Maybe.
I feel like losing. Why not?
Hey.
Hey. Number 18, Dominion by Rio Grande.
Oh, he's 3 for 3. But I tell you what, Nat, I had that a hell of a lot higher than number 18.
You know, when I first started making the list, I put it really high, and then the more games I put on there, I was like, no, that's dropping down. But listen, everyone knows what Dominion is, right? It's a hand management, deck building game. It's a classic. It's a favourite. There's umpteen expansions. You know, it can be quick. It can, you know, depending on how you want to play it and what expansions you're playing with. It can be a long game. It can be a short game. And it really was one of my first experiences of gaming in general. It's a nice game to bring people into hand management and playing with cards. And I just love it. I love it so much. I've got a custom-made wooden box with all of my expansions in, and I'm slowly going through, sleeving everything and making it all pretty and nice. I know it sounds weird that it's at number 18. It should be high, but there are just so many good games on my list.
I think probably because we haven't played it in such a long time, we really need to break it out. But Dominion is the game that, it might not have been the first deck building game, but it was certainly the game that sort of put deck building really firmly on the map and created the sort of a bit of a craze for deck building elements in games. Dominion will always be in my top 50. I think it's a fabulous game and always worth a play, even though we don't play it very much anymore.
We don't, but it's a big box to get down.
It is, especially your collection is. Anyway, moving on. Number 17.
Number 17 is La Stanza by Quinid Games.
It's another ding.
Is it another ding? I tell you what, I don't know if
it's not looking good for you.
It's not. I'm just boring and predictable.
Boring and predictable, Natalie.
But I stay the course. I love La Stanza. La Stanza is a fairly newish game. Played it first time a couple of years ago, maybe?
Yeah, I want to say 2019.
I think so. We didn't play it last year because, the world ended.
We bought it to Gearstones.
We bought it to Gearstones in 2019. And again, another Euro. But an interesting mechanism, by using your action points and how you're scoring your victory points. Again, it's Renaissance Italy, you're collecting artworks, you're building up your knowledge of science and, exploration as they did in sort of, 15 to 1700s. But, I just really love the mechanism. And I think it's because it's a different mechanism, it trips some people up and it's clicked with me. So I tend to enjoy it because it really makes sense to me, but it doesn't seem to make sense to the people that I've played with.
You've won every single game you've ever played of this. We played it with Dan in Gearstones, and Dan really enjoyed the game, but he had to go and have a little sit down and a cry in the corner for a little while because it just broke him a little bit. And this is a really thinky, tough Euro game. It doesn't look very nice, but it is a really good game. I really like it. I think this one will stay in our collection for a while. Not quite in my top 50, but it's a very strong game.
I'm always here for the mechanics that are just a little bit different. Now, I'm a self-avowed love of Euro games. They are my favourite games. I genuinely don't care about theme being pasted on. Give me little colour cubes and different ways to move them around the board, and I'm a happy girl. So when something comes along with a little bit of a more interesting mechanism, the same for Kalamala, I'm there. And I really did enjoy it. So again, a lot of good games, but it comes in at number 17 for me.
There we go. Okay, so
I think this is the one. I think this might be the one that you would say you wouldn't put.
This is the one that I wouldn't put, no?
I think so. So here we go. It's number 16, Mansions of Madness by Fantasy Flight Games.
See, I wrote it down, but I thought a lot of it was you just sort of being nice to me and letting me play a game that I really like. I didn't realise that you enjoyed it as much.
No, I do really enjoy it, but it's one of the few kind of Ameritrash cooperative games that I do enjoy, because it doesn't feel like a chore to play. Because you've got the app, which does a lot of the setup for you and a lot of the game admin. It's a more enjoyable experience. You get involved in the story more now. We play it with our friends. It's a game we use to bring our friends into the gaming world because it is a story, and we've got the app and we put it on our big TV in the kitchen and we turn the lights down and it's all very atmospheric and it's a lot of fun. And you really do feel like you're in this, solving this puzzle, stopping the forces of darkness together. It by far is one of my favourite types of those games. In fact, if not the favourite. I really enjoy it.
I think if Ronan was here, we would say it's a great experience, but not necessarily a game.
Yeah.
I think there are choices in there, and there are decisions, and you have to make the right decisions at key moments. But yeah, I get the fact that it's more of a story than a game, but I think there is game elements in it, and I absolutely love this game.
I mean, and I can see where he's coming from, but then my argument against that would be, well, if you're social gaming, surely you're not doing it for the experience as well. Like, for me, there are places for those types of games. Now,
he likes it.
I think Ronan's very much like me in that he's like hardcore Euro gamer. But these experience games, the ones that hit hard for me and the ones that I really do enjoy, I cherish because they do bring that social aspect into gaming that I don't get when I've got my head down over my coloured pieces of blocks of wood.
Yes. Okay, well, very good choice. I didn't think you liked it as much, but moving on to your number 15.
So my game coming in at number 15 is X-Files Legendary by Upper Deck.
Damn it!
No? Was it even on your list for me?
I wrote it down because of your love for X-Files.
I love X-Files.
You do love X-Files. And
I love...
I didn't know if it was a strong enough game.
Okay, so Legendary... I'm not really sure how popular the Legendary series is, but
pretty popular.
Yeah, so it's again deck management, but it kind of forces you along a storyline. I think there's been quite a few different IPs for Legendary. You've got your superheroes. I know you've got aliens, and then you've got X-Files, and there may be others out there. Now I quite like the more gamey aspect of the hand management and the more cooperative aspect of it. But for me, the beauty is in the fact it does the X-Files IP so well, and I think that's incredibly difficult when it comes to games. There are maybe 3 or 4 games I can think of off the top of my head that have really done something good with the IP that they've got, and X-Files Legendary is one of them. you are racing against the clock. You are racing against this shadowy conspiracy theory, and it really does mirror those arcs within X-Files. It follows the seasons as well, which I really enjoy. And of course, it's always nice to just have David Duchovny in my hand.
Shall I just step aside now?
Well, if you don't get 10 games, I'm getting on the phone.
Hey, Max, you've had a photo with him, and all of a sudden you're the next Mrs. Duchovny.
I'm just saying.
Right, I like X-Files. I think I need to play it a little bit more. It's really hard, and that's absolutely right. It's very atmospheric, and it really does bring that sort of theme home. I'm not as big about X-Files buff as Nat is, but it's a good game, and it's one of the stronger ones in the Legendary series. I think I'm going to always like the comic book one the most, the Marvel Legendary, but it may even be a better game than the Marvel Legendary, but I just like the IP of Marvel. Yeah. So, yeah, cool, very good. That's another one I've missed, so I'm slowly fading.
I don't know what we're going to do. How are we going to break it to the kids?
Well, the lawyer's having a little doze, but he's getting restless. He's getting restless, and all he's gone.
How are we going to explain it to the children? Like, Mummy and Daddy still love one another. They're just simply incompatible.
Right, go on then, crack on.
Right,
14.
Number 14 is Draftosaurus by Ankama, rather.
No.
Was this on your game at all?
Yeah, it was on the list, but I thought you liked it for the kids. It was another one I didn't think you liked for yourself.
I love it.
Oh, yeah,
I really do. So it is a children's game. We play it with our eldest. You are basically drafting little dinosaur figurines from a bag, and you're placing them in your park as dictated to by the roll of a dice, and it's got set collection in there, and it's a nice little children's game. But I actually really, really enjoy it for myself. Because you can have, if you want it, you can make it a little bit mean, like you. I know I do. I don't give my son any quarter anymore.
She's
he
brutal.
Legitimately beats me at games. Gloves are off.
She's brutal. She will go for the jugular every time. Like,
listen, he knows well enough now. He's well able to beat me at games.
I'll tell you what, you're not far off telling the 3-year-old when you're playing games with him. Sucks to be you. You lost, buddy.
He's getting better at games. Listen, the times are coming. In any case, I really like Draftosaurus. It, as I say, is a children's game, but there's enough in there to keep the adults happy, and it genuinely makes me light of heart, and I do enjoy playing it. And when we're James is looking to pick a game for us to play on family game nights, I'll always kind of whisper in his ear, "Oh, should we play Draftosaurus?" Sometimes I get my way, sometimes I don't.
Mm. Draftosaurus is a fabulous game. It is one of my favourite family games. It's right up there with Dixit for me, and yeah, I think it's a really good game. Really doesn't outstay its welcome. It's done and dusted if you play the single version, because you can play both sides of the board and double it up. But if you just play one side, it's gone in 25 minutes, half an hour, the most, and that's if you dally. So yeah, a really strong choice, Natalie. And I'm really upset I didn't choose it now, because I thought about it. But it's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
I was doing so well.
You were. You were getting all confident, where you're like, I've got this nailed down.
It's all falling apart. So, moving on. Unlucky for some. 13.
Number 13. Suburbia by Bessie again.
Oh, he's back in the game.
Is he back in the game?
He's back in the game.
Awesome. Maybe. I don't know. In any case, Suburbia, a really popular classic game. You are building a city with tiles. You're using those tiles to string effects off each other to earn reputation and population points. As you go along, you've got a certain cost to pay, so those reputation and population will come down. The more successful your city gets, you can concentrate how you build your city. I love the intricacies. There are different ways to win, which I love kind of trying to explore. Do you build a more industrial city or not? You know what? I've got nothing but love for this game, as evidenced by the fact we've got the deluxe version knocking around.
Oh, and it's very pretty. Yes, so we do house rule. The PR firm and the casino are banned because they're so powerful. If somebody does get them and nobody else does, then that person has a really big leg up to winning the game. But it's a game in which I never win. Absolutely never, because I never pay any attention to the goals which you at the end of the game when you flip over and whoever's got the most of this or the least of that. I never pay any attention because I'm usually so much enjoying myself building my city and cranking those wheels of the city that I just forget about them. But yeah, and that to me shows what a really good experience is Suburbia. And I thoroughly, it's right up there for me as well.
Yeah, I do love it. It is good. And I always beat you, which always makes me happy.
You always mush me, but there we go. Yeah, we're still bad at games, are we? Talked about the Stanza, we talked about Suburbia.
Yeah, and when have we played them last? I noticed we always play games you beat me at recently.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Number 12.
Number 12 is On Mars by Eagle Griffin Game.
Balderdash.
No?
I had it written down. I knew you liked it.
I do like it.
I know you like it. But I didn't think you liked it that much.
I do like it that much.
Ah!
On Mars. It's from Sagrada. I think he's also done Lisboa, Gallerist, Vinhos, and On Mars is by far my favourite game of his. If you've played any of his games, you'll be very familiar with the mechanisms that he likes to use. I personally think it works very well in On Mars, which is why I enjoy it. It thematically works well. Basically, you're moving between one of the moons of Mars and Mars itself when you're trying to colonise and terraform Mars. You've got a limited number of turns to do that. You've got a limited number of resources, all of these wonderful things that you find in Euro games. But again, that tweak in the mechanism where you have to be really careful about where you're sitting at your turn's end to make sure that you're in the place you want to be in to do your actions. And it just clicks within me, and I really, really enjoy it. It's very thinky, very heavy.
It's a tough enough game just doing what you do on the surface of Mars, which is building your research stations and getting your resources and exploring it and trying to get the goals and all that. But then, on the flip side, is that you have got this space station, or whether it's a moon, I can't remember where you go from, but you rocket down to Mars and then you go back up to the space station and then you do your research and things like that up there. And you, as Nat said, positioning yourself is such a crucial part of the game. It's very, very clever, very, very thinky, and it's a really good game. And we'll be doing our top 10 of 2020 in the near future. And I tell you what, this is a contender.
Should be.
It's
Excellent.
Right up
Excellent.
there for me.
But I tell you, it is one of those games, we know from experience, you need one night to learn it and one night to play it. It is hardcore.
Yeah,
it's hardcore.
For sure. Okay, so moving on to the one that just missed out on your top 10.
Just missed out on my top 10. Mr. Cabbagehead by Ludy Creations.
Oh,
No? Did it even make a list? I'm really interested in the ones that didn't even make a list.
My list is on the flip side of another piece of paper, so I'm just going to have a look to see if it's even on here. Mr. I'm going to show you proof. Mr. Cabbagehead's
It is
Garden.
there.
It is there.
It is there.
I thought about it, and I also thought about La Stanza, as you can see.
I can.
On Mars is there. See, there. I knew about them. I'm not making it up. So, Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden, yes. Why do you like that so much?
I like this. This is a really nice, quaint set collection card game for 2 players only. And it has been designed with that in mind. I think it started off as a solo game, and then it was a variant was introduced to allow it to be played with 2 players, and it's just perfect. It's 20 to 30 minutes again, a nice little light filler. I love the artwork. It's just a lovely game. It just kind of makes me smile when you see it in its box and you see the artwork and the set collection and all of that business. I really enjoy it.
The artwork really evokes that sort of quaint, weird Victorian artwork, and it really kind of pushes that feel as well. And yeah, it is a really, really good game. Yeah, it started off as a self-published work by the designer, and then Ludy Creations bought it, and then just to make it a bit more marketable, they made it into a 2-player version. You can still play the solo version, which is really good. But great game. Thought about it. I just love the feel of this game. With you, it just makes me smile just looking at the weird.
I remember playing it. There's one place it always evokes me when we played it in Oxford, when we played it in the hotel where they shot some scenes of Inspector Morse in front of the fireplace. We went
had Inspector Morse looking down on us.
We went for my birthday at the beginning of January, so it was cold and wet outside, and we had a pint and an open fire, and we were just playing Cabbage Head Garden, and I thought it just fit within that kind of atmosphere perfectly. Absolutely. It was so much fun.
Absolutely. Okay. So, we are moving into top 10 country. Right,
oh, here we go. Now, these should be easier for you. I don't...
Well, I can tell you so far, I am bang on, like, just saving myself. I am 5 for 10.
Okay. But I'm thinking this is going to be better for you. It must be. You must have a fairer idea of my top 10. It has to
be. If it isn't, I'm in trouble.
Okay, let's go. Number 10 for me is Underwater Cities by Delicious Games.
Yeah, yay. I'm in there. I'm in like Flynn.
Love Underwater Cities. Love it. Obviously, it's in my top 10. Again, another Euro. You're building your underwater city. You're trying to connect with land so that you can get more resources. It's not. Do you know what? You don't have to connect with land. It just gives you a little bit of a bonus and some scoring opportunities. We have pimped out our copy of Underwater Cities. I love it that much. It's fantastic. I like the intricacies. It's that little tweak of how you do your actions. You can match the colour of your cards with the actions available. And if you do, you get a bonus. If you don't, you just get the action on the board. Something a little bit different to consider, which I always enjoy in Euros.
Yeah, it's a very strong game. It's one of my favourite Vladimir Sushi games. He's recently done one called Praga, which I really want to delve into.
We played that once. I got absolutely hammered.
We played it once. I want to review it. So
you review it on your own. It was embarrassing.
Well, Ronan's got it anyway, so I can play with him eventually. But yeah, Vladimir Sushi, really strong designer, a prolific designer, and this for me is right up there with his best games. We've got the expansion. We haven't delved into that yet, but we haven't really felt the need to delve into it. We've played Underwater Cities. Must be 5 or 6 times, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And then we've had other people come in. So, yeah, it's one that sticks around, and we do bring it out from time to time. I've even pimped up your copy of it.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so that was your number 10.
Yeah.
So I'm back in business. So number 9, come on, let's keep the ball rolling.
Number 9 is Azul by Plan B Games. Are we there?
That was a no-brainer.
That's a gimme.
I'll tell you what, I've put it very similar spot, and I've even written next to it, should it be higher? Because I could see this being in your top 5, to be honest.
Again, it was one of those that I put right up there, and then there were just so many other things that bumped it out. I love Azul. Abstract, set collection game, very pretty tiles. I love the feel of the tiles, the look of them as you place them down. You start the game off thinking, I'm not going to score very much, but then it kind of cumulative scoring. Yeah. It's just a favourite for me. I really do enjoy it.
It's very tactile, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And one of the things I like to do, probably too much, and probably I probably look a little bit strange and a little bit scary doing it, is I like to put my hand in the bag and just rummage through the tiles and feel them rummaging.
You have traumatised so many of our friends by doing that. It's unreal.
I do dribble a little when I'm doing it. But
yeah, so the dribble gets on the tiles, that's the problem.
Azul's going to be around for forever, because it's such a good, clever game. It's simple to play, but with loads of hidden depth, and it can be nasty.
Yeah.
And we don't tend to be nasty. And I think it's just such a clever game. And yeah, cracking on. Right. So that was your number 9.
It is.
Number 8.
Number 8 for me is Dinosaur Island by Pandasaurus Games.
Oh, that was in my... Look, it was in my also rans. It was the top of the also rans, so that would be my number 21 for you. So that is a miss.
I love Dinosaur Island, building a dinosaur park. So obviously you need to build your pens to keep the dinosaurs. You need to get the science to build the dinosaurs. You need to get other attractions in your park to keep people coming back, so they've got somewhere to eat and drink and merchandise to buy. And of course, the look of it. I think you'll have seen this around when it first came out for sure. It was quite eye-poppingly pink, and very shocking.
It was 80s.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, it got there. Considering when it came out, it was like you see a sea of beige oftentimes, and then there's just this pop of colour. And to go along with that is this amazing gameplay. And we have played it I can't even count the number of times we've played it. And we've also got all of the expansions. And it's a new game every time because you've got options with, you know, technicians that come out to help you, extras you can build in your lab. You've got the expansion. We've got a water expansion with it. And it's just, you know, it's just a game I can play again and again. And I just do not get tired of it.
Yeah, and we've got the Kickstarter bits where they add in loads. There's modular expansions that come with it as well on top of that. So we've got so much to play on this one. I absolutely love it. I think it's in its entirety can be quite daunting because there's lots of phases to go through. But what they've done is they've broken up the phases individually, so every phase is quite easy to play, and then it all comes together at the end, and you see where you are in terms of building your dinosaur park. And who doesn't want to play Jurassic Park, the board game? Yeah, it was always a winner for me. I didn't know you quite liked it as much as you do,
it
but
so much.
It makes me happy that it's on your list.
No, absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
Number 7.
How are we doing? Are we?
My head is above water. Just.
Okay. All right. It's fine. You can come back quite strong now, I think. But at least I'm not boring and predictable.
Well. There we go.
Okay, number 7 for me is Rococo by Pegasus Spiel and Eagle Griffin Games.
You're a bad person.
Why am I a bad person now?
You're a bad person.
Is it even on your list?
It's on the other page where I thought about it. There it is, look.
Love Rococo.
I didn't know.
Well,
I thought you quite liked it.
No.
But
I think
not
it's
much.
Brilliant. I really do. It's a game that has a lot of depth to it. We've played it many times to the point where we got the pimped out version recently, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, so it originally came out from Pegasus Spiel, I think, and that was nice. It was very Euro looking, and then Eagle Griffin did their magic, and it wasn't cheap, but it is absolutely stunning.
Beautiful. Again, it's the kind of managing your actions with your hand of cards, hand management as part of the game, but also set collection and just so many things to kind of keep track of, but it all makes sense thematically. And that lends a certain depth to the game, which means you can play it time and time and time again and not have the same game twice. For me, I know others feel differently, but that's how I feel about the game.
Well, we've got expansions. We've got the jewellery expansion and I think the Christmas clothes expansions in there and stuff like that. So we're going to have a lot of play in that box, and it's a game we both thoroughly enjoy, and I've realised now how much Natalie does enjoy it.
I
so,
do.
Happy days. Okay. And that was your number 7, was it?
It was.
Oh, getting close to the top 5, right? Number 6. The one that missed out.
The one that missed out. Honestly, it was... when you see my top 5, you'll see why. My number 6 is Aquasphere by Hall Games and Pegasus.
Oh, what an Aquasphere. I love a party with a happy Aquasphere. Oh, won't you take me there?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Are you all right there?
There was a double celebration because I've got Aquasphere.
Excellent. So Aquasphere is one of the first Stefan Feld games I ever played and led me to my love affair with Stefan Feld. That sounds really creepy. I don't have an actual love affair with Stefan Feld, just as a disclaimer, but I adore his games. And Aquasphere is one of the first ones I played. And when I did play it, I was quite new to board game, and this idea of not being able to accomplish everything that you wanted to and being forced to make that choice quite early on was new to me, but also still has interest to me to this day. Like, I still can't get around it. I still don't know how to kind of balance those things. And it always leads to a new experience for me.
A little secret, Stefan Feld games, nobody knows how to balance it all.
Which is fine, because I love it so much.
It's a fantastic game. And recently we said in our top 5 of two designers when we pit Feld against Rosenberg, I said at the beginning of that, I always thought in my head that Aquasphere was my favourite Feld game until I started really sort of pitting them against each other. And Aquasphere actually went down the list. It went down to 3 or 4 in the end. But it's still a fantastic game because Feld is right up there. He may well be my favourite designer. And it was beaten up by Trajan was ahead of it and Amerigo was ahead of it. But Aquasphere is still a fabulous, fabulous game, and I thoroughly enjoy it all. Every time I play it, it's just the programming and the getting round to the different areas to do what you need to do and to score your points. And then you've got octopods attacking and they're causing you a hindrance, and then you've got to collect certain materials to get past certain scores, and so much to think about. So good.
So good.
So good.
So good.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Especially so because it's on my list.
You see, now this is where I think you get all of them. I genuinely think there will not be a shock.
If your number one is not the number one that I've got down for you, I'm gonna say it here and now. I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna go out and you'll never see me again.
I think everybody knows what my number one is.
Okay,
I think you could ask people on the street and they'd be like, "Yep, that's your number one."
Top 5 time.
Okay, number 5 for me is. Are you ready?
Yep.
Bunny Kingdom by Yellow.
Ding, straight in. Yep.
No messing.
Obvious. Obvious, girl, is obvious.
Yes, I love Bunny Kingdom. Even though it has got a tremendous amount of luck, it's not Euro in any way, shape or form. You're basically chancing what little strategy you have on a hand of cards. I love it. The drafting, the stitching people. Like, I spend half my games of Bunny Kingdom stitching other people up. I don't mind not winning. As long as I'm not letting anybody else get anything for free, I'm happy.
It's funny.
It's so good.
It's a funny, fun game where you still get that agony of choice because you can end up with 2 cards and you really want one of those cards, but you know that somebody else really wants the other one. It's like, do I deny them that and lose the card myself, or it's such a good game. It's such a fun game.
And normally, because I'm losing so heavily, I know which way I'm going to go because there's no point me trying to advance myself because I've lost by that point. I will say I'm not wild about the expansion, but for me, it's just so different every game. You know, it's a big board. You play on the grid with regards to the cards, so you're never really going to get the same setup twice. There's enough for me in that game, in that base game, to just play it continuously. And it is fun. It's a fun, stitch you up game. You can't get mad about it because everybody's doing it. And, you know, them's the breaks. I love it. And who doesn't want like little bunnies as your ambassadors knocking around the board? That's what I say.
Cool. Right. Bunny Kingdom. Yes. Great choice. Number 4.
Number 4 is Carcassonne by Rio Grande Games.
So, I've got Winter Carcassonne. Can I have that?
Yes, because that's the one I meant. For me, it's the only one that's in existence. Why would you play regular Carcassonne when you can have a Winter Carcassonne that's got Santa Claus on it and reindeer?
Doesn't have Santa.
Someone lied to me.
Doesn't have Santa. It has that weird Arctic fox thing with antlers.
Yeah, but it's got reindeer and such.
I think it might have reindeer and stuff like that.
But it's winter and it's got snow.
It's winter. It's Christmassy.
It's Christmassy. Why would you play another Carcassonne?
It's not Christmas Carcassonne.
It is when you take a marker to it. I'm just saying. Don't look too closely at our tiles, is all I'm telling you. I love this game. Jokes aside, no matter which theme you get, it's a good game. It's the original kind of tile laying game. People know it. Come on. You're drawing your tiles, you're laying them down, you're scoring points for roads and cities and farms. And I love this game so much. I have actually got a cross stitch of Carcassonne on my wall.
I'm looking at it now.
I just, again, different game every time. I just love it. I really do. I think it's fantastic. Well, and it's always fun for me personally when I get the last monastery out of the bag. And I've had however many, the majority of monasteries, and you've had one. I always find that there's deeply amusing.
In our household where I just don't get monasteries. I just don't pick them up, and it's traumatised me. But Carcassonne it's a classic. It's easily overlooked as a great game these days, but it still remains a great game. Pick it up, play it now. You'll still have fun, even with the amazing amount of wonderful games that there are in the market right now. Carcassonne is still a fantastic part of that market and a great choice. And you know what it's done? What? It's saved our marriage.
Has it saved our marriage?
It has brought up the magic 10, and I've still got 3 to go.
Excellent. Because it would have just been really difficult to break the news to the children.
Oh, no, we've still got to get the number 1 right, otherwise I'm out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right, so
I'm not worried about that.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Vikings by Hans im Gluck and Zeeman Games.
Easy.
I knew the top 5 would be easy for you. I never made any secret about the games that I adore. Vikings, it was made in 2000, something like that.
2007, I want to say.
Do you?
I do.
You know more about games than I do. I'll let you have it.
I could be completely wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it anyway. And I'm not sure how popular it is, and I don't know if it was kind of overlooked on release or what have you. I know that lots of people we've brought it to haven't played it before. It's a kind of tile laying set collection game, and you have to be really kind of careful about how you lay your tiles so that you don't lose points and queens and such. It's got a mandala effect where you choose your tiles either, through buying them if you've got the money, or you just kind of have to wait till one of them becomes, 0 queens. And that tile comes with a Viking, whether you want it to or not. Oh, you know what? I love it. It's got so many kind of decision points to make. Again, I don't think any two games are the same, and it's why it keeps coming to our table.
It's a really, really good puzzle game. The theme doesn't really hold up. There's a trick of a theme in there.
Schmee,
but
that's what
it all hinges on the decision-making process, that with the wheel in the middle, that, as Nat said, if you're desperate for a tile and you've got the money to pay for it, you can grab that, but you've got to spend all your money doing it. Otherwise, you're waiting and you're trying to time it so that you get that tile when it's affordable to you. And other people know what tile you're after, so they're very mindful.
Especially them end tiles. Yeah, they get very scarce very quickly.
And it's lots of different ways to score points. It's got that kind of Steffenfeld, even though this isn't Steffenfeld, it's got that kind of Steffenfeld thing where you've got to feed people, or there's something that's going to hamper you at the end of the game if you don't do it. So, and that is the Vikings, the feeding Vikings, the fishermen. You've got to make sure that you've got enough of them, otherwise you're going to lose loads of points.
Flesh, you nearly always forget about
that. That's
the one that does for you every time.
That game. I always forget about them, or just think I can manage without them for some reason. But that's cool. But yeah, it's a very good game. I thoroughly enjoy it. Moving onwards and upwards.
My number 2. What was my number 2?
What just missed out?
Among the Stars by Artipia.
Yeah, obvious, kid. It is obvious.
Oh, this game. Oh, my word.
You like a tile layer, don't you?
I like a tile layer. I like when things trigger off other things. So in Among the Stars, you're building your space station. You've got 6 different kind of modules that you build with, and you can go down whichever route your cards dictate. It's a draft game, so you're moving your cards between people. You're building your station. You're trying to make sure that it obeys the rules, and you're trying to power it. And there are expansions, and what is not to love about this game? I feel I'm a bit of a broken record because it's one of those games that I'm happy to just play the base game, because you're never going to get the same game twice, and there's enough intricacies there to kind of keep you interested throughout the game. I adore it.
People do say you should play with the Ambassadors expansion for this, and although we've had it for a long time, we've never actually broken it out.
Let's do that then.
Yeah, so maybe we should play with the Ambassadors. But it's a very good game, a really enjoyable game. And again, it's one of those games that we feel comfortable being mean to each other at, because you have got that draft in it as well. But Among the Stars, I knew it would be there. I had it quite high up myself. So now,
I'm wondering if you want to say what you think my number 1 is first.
I think we all know it's Anachrony.
Oh, come on! I was trying to build up the suspense, but yes. Everybody knows it's Anachrony.
Here we go.
Oh, this game. Honestly, I could wax lyrical about this game for hours. For one, it does time travel really well. Now, this is my big thing, and it's not just about games, but any media you care to consume, TV, film, podcasts, books, cannot do time travel well. It makes my head hurt, but Anachrony has managed it. I genuinely don't know how. The mechanism just works, and thematically works with regards to time travel. On top of that, it's a post-apocalyptic scenario. Oh my word! What do I not love about post-apocalyptic scenarios? I read books, I watch. Honestly, it's just, if you got the essence of Tilly and put her in a box, you would get Anachrony. And it's pretty, and we've got the expansions, and it's just mind-bending. And, when you're coming to your last couple of rounds, which you don't precisely know is when it's going to be because of the mechanism within the game, those rounds can take forever because you're just really trying to think, what is the most points I can now get at the end of this game? And there's just so many things to think about. You've got to make sure your robots or your mechanoids have got enough power, that you've got enough scientists, that you're going to survive the next apocalyptic event. We haven't even touched the expansions. And we've got that massive box, which is just a thing of absolute beauty. It took 4 hours to put the box together. It was fantastic.
Full of game trays. That's it. So, yeah, I think the reason why they do the time travel really well is they keep it simple.
Yeah.
So basically, you're borrowing from the future, and you're accepting gifts that are going to help you in your present. But you've got to replace them in the future when you get to that future. Otherwise, they're not going to be there because you're borrowing from yourself. So it's done very cleverly, but it's done very simply. And I love playing with the big mechs. You put this tiny bit of cardboard in the mech to show that you've sent the mech to wherever it is, and you need the right workers to go to the right spaces, and you've got to power them. There's a tableau building part of it where you're building up your own sort of buildings and rooms in your facility. All sings out to me. It does play quite quickly once you get going. It can be a bit daunting learning the rules and getting into it.
Yeah.
But once you get going, it does play quite quickly, and it's a very, very strong game. It's right up there for me as well. And yeah, there we go.
The least shocking number one.
The least shocking number
in the
one
history of the world.
So I've managed it. I've got 13 out of 20.
Yeah.
I thought I'd do a hell of a lot better than that.
You really thought I was that predictable?
I thought I'd have a minimum of 16.
Really?
Yeah, at least, if not 17. So, do you want to hear my list?
I do want to hear your list. Where did you go so badly wrong?
Well, I'm going to start at the bottom. So, number 20, I had Christmas Tree, because I thought she's going to have a game about Christmas in there. And we really enjoyed Christmas Tree when we played it.
I have got a game about Christmas in there.
Yeah, and the Winter Carcassonne doesn't count.
As I've said, it does when you've got marker pens.
So, anyway, Christmas Tree I thought would be there because it's probably the best Christmas game we've played.
Yeah, but it's not good enough. Like, it's a good game, and it's a filler game, and, I enjoy it, but it's not good enough to be in my top 20.
Anyway, right. Cat Cafe.
Nice.
Aquasphere.
Not as high as I thought.
Now, this is where I thought, this is one, like a Christmas Tree, that was a wing and a prayer sort of thing, but Potion Explosion, I thought you liked that.
I do, but it gets very repetitive very quickly. It does, for me, I play maybe another 1 or 2 games of that, and I'm done. Do
you know what I think might have killed it? The app. Because the app does everything you need to do.
It does, and I play it on my phone.
Yeah, we play it quite a lot on the app. And this one, I thought it's new in terms of we've just bought it recently, really enjoy it. James enjoyed it. Called The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
I can see why you'd think that, and I think if we've got another couple of plays, mind you, having said that, James annihilated me last time, so I might just burn my copy.
Is that why you were just embarrassed?
No, I was embarrassed. He's 8 years old. No, it's a bit too luck-driven for me to be in my top 20. I know that sounds weird when you consider that Bunny Kingdom is in my top 5, but Bunny Kingdom also has that element of take that about it, and I do like Quacks of Quedlinburg. It's a lovely-looking game, and I'm glad you pimped it out, and we will pay it, but it's not top 20.
Right, Brass. I thought Brass would be up there.
It's very pretty. I only played it a couple of times, though.
Yeah, okay. Sagrada.
I've got us all.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't have Sagrada.
It's the same sort of abstract puzzle.
Yeah, I prefer Sagrada, but I thought you really liked Sagrada.
I do. It's not top 20, though.
Then I had La Stanza.
Yeah.
Then I had Suburbia, Orléans, Azul, and there's another one that I can guarantee you, if we did this 5 years ago, this would have been right at the top for you. And it's Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark, even 2 years ago, would have been in my top 5.
So why is it fallen away?
I don't know. Again, we've played it so often. There's nothing new there for me now. I know the cards. I know how to win. I know...
Yeah, you do. Okay, cool. Race for the Galaxy. You made me buy this twice when we thought we'd lost our copy.
Yeah, true. I got no good answer for that. It was on my list. It was on my also rans.
You're a bad person.
I'm a bad person.
And then everything you've got from there on in is Underwater Cities, Bunny Kingdom, Among the Stars, Winter Carcassonne, Dominion. See, I thought Dominion was really high.
Yeah, you did.
Vikings and Anachrony. That's it.
Can I tell you what my also rans were?
Go on then.
I had Dune.
Yeah.
Castles of Burgundy.
I thought, I considered Castle. I didn't consider Dune because it's so new. We've only played it a couple of times.
I loved it though. I loved it.
I knew you really liked it. I put it down, but I thought, is it too new? Is it too fresh for you to have in your list?
It might be. It might be next year. It'd be like, oh, why would it even be an also ran? Then there was Race for the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Obviously. And that was it. I managed to... Oh, no, sorry. There was Lorenzo Il Magnifico.
I've got that in my... You know what I also had in my really, really close pile?
Yeah.
Isle of Cats. Raiders of the North Sea. Lorenzo. Baron Park.
Oh.
Because I know you like a tile layer and I know you like that game. And Concordia.
See, weirdly, although I really like Concordia when we play it, it didn't even enter my head. But at least our marriage is safe, so...
Yes. So, thank you very much for coming and telling us all about your top 20.
We're still married.
We're still married. We have survived the test. And, I just want to finish off, as we like to do, myself and Ronan. Natalie, you've had a Kickstarter come through. Well, I bought it for you.
You bought it for me. It can't be my Kickstarter. You bought it for me.
You asked me to buy it for you. You said you liked the look of it and I should buy it for you.
No. I said I like the look of it. And then before I had a chance to draw the next breath, you were like, oh, backed it.
It's Rocket Men from Martin Wallace. So it's a space game about space travel by Martin Wallace, who's a designer we both like.
Might break it out soon.
We might break it out. And, I've got Wishland, a game they'll call Wishland, about building up your own funfair.
And we've bought a bunch of Habba games for our youngest because he turned 3 a couple of days ago.
We'll talk about them in one of our pitter-patter episodes.
But it's great because we're getting our little 3-year-old to start playing games and he loves them.
Oh, he loves them. There's a rainbow game. I can't even tell you what the name of it is. Something about a rainbow and a cat sliding down a rainbow.
In German.
And he really loves it. But what I did want to talk about, now this game is still on Kickstarter now as we speak, but by the time this episode comes out, you probably won't have a lot of time, if any at all, to back it, but I'm sure they'll be doing sort of the post-backer stuff, late pledges and all that kind of things. It's Fjords by Grail Games. Now this is a game that has been re-implemented from the previous Fjords, which was a much older game. And it's a tile-laying game, but it's also an area control game. It looks absolutely stunning. The artwork is by Beth Sobel, and she is making a real name for herself in the board game art. She's right up there with your Lohhausens and Mikos now and all that. And the artwork is stunning. The game looks really, really interesting. It's got that Viking theme that myself and Ronan always are drawn to, because we like to think of ourselves as Vikings.
Can you imagine how hard I'm rolling my eyes right now?
It's listen, if you dig far enough, one of us once saw Norway, all right? But yeah, Fjords is looking like a real game. It's funded. It's gonna be made. They've even, so the original designer was Franz Benno de Long, but Phil Walker Harding has actually put in some expansions for it and made some expansions for the game. So yeah, I think it looks an amazing game. I'm backing it. I know Ronan's excited about it too. So if that tickles your fancy, then have a look at that. And also,
can I raise something? Can I raise something?
Go on. So you're going to say the same thing as I am.
I am going to say the same thing as you are, but I'm not coming from a happy place. Mythic Battles, Ragnarok.
Dun dun dun.
After the sheer... Are you done?
Dun dun dun.
Debacle that was the original Mythic Battles pledge.
Yes. No, I'm gutted that you spent all your money on it.
Unbeknownst to me.
Well, you shouldn't let me loose with your card.
I'm never doing it again. And then he goes to me, oh, Ragnarok's coming out. I'll only have the base pledge. Shush!
I never said that.
You said.
I said.
What, 17 listeners?
It won't be as expensive as Mythic Battles Pantheon. And I said that because they had said we are not going to make as much as Mythic Battles Pantheon. Therefore, the price level for all in will be much cheaper. Don't punch me. I'm fragile.
You will be.
I'm tiny.
You will be fragile.
So all in is a mere £217.
Oh, good. Listen, the listeners at home know I'm in the right.
Anyway, Mythic Battle Pantheon is out.
It does look cool, though. And I think that the eldest is happy about it as well.
It's on Kickstarter, and I've backed it. I would be shocked if Ronan doesn't back it to some level. And James is proper excited about it. So, yeah, that's our Kickstarter stuff.
So what's interesting to me is we did a game sale, or rather you did a game sale.
I did do a game sale.
A short while ago, to get games out of the house because we were running out of room.
And I did get games out of the house.
Yeah, but more games have come back in. Shawnee, I don't think you've understood the notion of getting rid of games to free up space.
For more games?
No, just to get more space, because at the moment we're kind of living on top of games.
What else would you like?
Not to live on top of games.
We can be close to them, and we can cuddle them, and we can tickle them, and we can call them Trevor.
But then they can't be sold.
They can.
In any case.
Medical science. Anyway, so we're just whittering on.
We are whittering.
And so, yeah, thank you very much, Natalie, for coming into the game pit and deputising so ably for young Ronan.
I'm younger than he is.
Are you?
Yes, I am. He doesn't get this as well. Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry.
Only by about 4 months, but still, they're an important 4 months.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a delight. I was quite surprised. I don't know why, but I was quite surprised at my list of top 20 games, which is weird. Why do I surprise at my own list of top 20 games?
You need help.
I do.
It's all right. We'll get her the help she needs, people. Don't worry. To round up again, thank you very much to everybody for listening. Thank you to Ronan for all the hard work he does and everything he does to make this podcast happen. He does all the editing usually. Thank you to Natalie. And we out. And we are, as always, we are proud members of the Dice Tower Network. Go there and to the Dice Tower itself for gaming goodness galore. You know where to download it. Wherever you get your downloads, then tune in to us there. And if you could give us a like or a rating, a nice rating, then that would be really helpful and we'd really appreciate it. If you wish to catch us on social media, we do have a Facebook page, we do have an Instagram account, and we are on Twitter at GamePit Podcast. Contact us, and thank you very much to the people who've been chipping in with top 10 list ideas. Loads of them coming through, and really appreciate some of them. We're going to be doing some of them. And if you wish to contribute or just ask us some questions or give us some show ideas, we are thegamepitpodcast@gmail.com. And you can also catch us on our Board Game Geek Guild and just search for the Game Pit there and you'll find us, and we're always happy to respond on that. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Music by E. Aaron.
Go.
Boy buys Mythic Battles Ragnarok.
Girl's gonna sell it.